Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's AMA. We're looking forward to sharing some details of what's going on with the project with you guys. We had a nice AMA with you guys last week and last Friday as well, a more informal one. So, yeah, we're looking forward to sharing the stuff that's been going on with us. First and foremost, I'm going to hand you over to Herman now in a moment. He's going to give us the strategic and core development update as to what's going on with the project. Are you there at the moment, Herman?
Yes, I am. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm traveling at the moment, so I will try to keep this brief. I don't have a lot of news to share just yet. We planned the, as announced, the EVM release for today. Or rather, one of the main engineers working on this, who would have also joined us in this call, is ill at the moment. So, for that reason and none other, we will probably delay it until he feels better, so that we can support people using it better and more efficiently. I can't give you an exact time estimate on that, but I'm guessing it's, tomorrow. Along with the EVM release will come a bug bounty. You'll be able to either run your own parachain node, which could be interesting. We'll see exactly if we want to trial that too, but more generally connect to the parachain EVM or the EVM compatibility parachain RPC and execute calls just as you would on Ethereum, Polygon, BNB chain, etc. We have a list of things you might want to do. If you're even remotely technical, you can just deploy a contract and see how that goes. But even for the non-technical users, we would like to see you involved in messaging cherry tokens from the relay chain over to the parachain and back. The cherry tokens, of course, are native to the relay chain, but then abstracted into the parachain to pay the parachain transaction fees. And this cherry abstraction is called, I think, P-chair for parachair, or parachain cherry. More information about that in an upcoming blog about the EVM release and relative bug bounty. But if you want to try it out, I think it would also be good to brush up your facility knowledge to see how the EVM and its full feature, such as deploying smart contract and interacting with them, works, and whether it can sustain general usage ahead of its deployment in mainnet. I think that's it. I'll maybe also share a development on last week's message about us dialoguing with investors. We have done more of that. We are currently coordinating with our largest investor, and then a few of our smaller, as in owning less share of chair, but still rather strategic. We're coordinating with these. We will probably be able to share more about what will come out of this soon, and on our upcoming AMAs. I think in brief, the general consensus was that, well, as a base focus, storage as the main product is still something of immense interest. Cherry does cover a gap in the market, and though it has taken longer than expected, this base product still has a lot of potential, regardless of industry and market movements. Simply because people, be it engineers, firms, etc., regardless, again, if driven by the hype of blockchain and all that stuff, would want to use a product like this. There's a few applications, many I mentioned in the past. I don't think we need to reiterate this, but one in particular is internet backups. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen recent news about, I think it's called Internet Archive, Web Archive, something like that, that essentially some government or other is trying to regulate, is trying to impose fines upon for backing up what they reputed as copyright protected content, therefore infringing on people's copyright and stuff like that. And that can only really happen because these servers upon which that data was stored and shared from were centralized and were owned by some entity. We are currently working on a project like that. I can't really share too much information, but that's something as an extension of the core product that we want to underscore. We will continue developing things around this core use case, but beyond that, we still find immense value. Not just we, as we, that's our job and our, we're certainly conditioned to think that way. But industry experts, our investors, partners that we consider strategic, certainly given their the funds that they were able to invest in Cherry and deploy for the development of our mission, but also due to the years of experience that they represent. We're all pretty confident that this storage product is still immensely valuable, and so I can't wait really to develop it further and bring it to market as we are doing in this gradual stages, expanding compatibility, interoperability, improving developer experience as well as user experience at a later stage, of course, over the next months and years. I think more actionable information. Let me see if I can find any for you. We'll be coordinating with one investor, our largest investor, to carry out some sort of rebrand. More information about that. I had suggested that we've been working on a website redo since January, but that was sort of frozen due to the intervention of this partner that wanted to fit the website redo into a broader effort of refreshing and improving our brand. I think I will have, I can't really speak to the stage of that yet, but I should have more information about that in the next few AMAs. And I'll be happy to share these also because it does seem like a recurring issue. People struggle to relate what Cherry is about, and our online presence really isn't as user friendly, as communicative and expressive of our missions and so forth. We're rather quite technical, as I am in these calls. We want to change that. We definitely see some value in communication and expressing these concepts in a basic format that people can comprehend and resonate with, regardless whether they fully comprehend how and why. And as I said, we are actively working with our investor to pursue that specifically, so like a rebrand, but also as an extension to that, a more practical marketing strategy once the brand is refreshed, to reinvigorate our channels, and also, of course, make the rebrand impetus, the rebrand, the value you get from the rebrand not dissipate and rather continue over time, keeping the information level and the information efforts, be it marketing, PRs, communications, whichever, at a certainly higher pace than what we're doing now. I think that's it. If there's any question, I'll be happy to answer them. I'm aware that there's, I think there still is an issue with trade-off-place, I believe, not on the mainnet, but on testnet. That is due to some upgrades that we made in advance of our parachain deployment. We've bumped the version of our substrate node of our Cherry mainnet, Cherry testnet relay chain node by 2 substrate versions, and I think there was an issue with a seeder. It's called a seeder, but regardless, we're aware of this. If any of the questions that would have come up was about this, I'm aware of this, and we should be fixing that today. Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much, Herman. Great to hear. We had one question from Jeremy, who asked if the Internet Archive is found to be acting illegally by storing copywritten data. How will we get past that, or will we still move forward with it?
So illegal is a matter of judgment. It's a matter of jurisdiction, and what's illegal some places is protected in other places. Certainly, what's illegal, let's say, in Iran or North Korea, is generally regarded as information that's appropriate elsewhere. Of course, we want to comply with laws. We wouldn't want our services to be used for content which doesn't comply with our morality, with the jurisdictions in which we operate, or from which our company operates. But the network, as it's designed, enables users to either locate their files on a supply side, places where the legal structure are more amenable, let's say, to information diffusion, such as, I don't know, there's many. I wouldn't want to mention this also because I'm not a lawyer. It's not exactly the point that I'm trying to make, that, let's play around with the law. There's certainly benefits to distribution by geography, by jurisdiction, that a lawyer would be able to comment on. Perhaps we might get somebody more competent in that area to state that. But it's good that I can make an allusion to it, though I can't really express exactly what that means. But more generally, when I'm talking about the Internet Archive, it's something that is generally regarded not, let's say, specific to morality and stuff like that as news. Now, anything, at least in the Western world, that is news is protected by free speech. Barring insults or calls to violence. And so, by my understanding, and by the understanding of those who have counseled us within the jurisdiction in which we operate, not only would we be fine offering that service, or rather facilitating that service, but again, talking about morality and stuff like that, it'd be not just legal, but also proper to attempt to spread news, spread truth, and make it accessible, frankly, to areas where it's not just the supply that's compromised, but it's also the demand that is restricted. Backed up websites, backed up information pages like Wikipedia, that are otherwise accessible in the free world or not, in North Korea, Iran, in some cases, China. That is because of the centralization, because of the onus, not legislators, but rather bureaucrats impose on these centralized companies that vehicle this information. I don't believe that's a good system. I don't think the people inside these countries think it's a good system, or maybe we should inform them that there are better systems. And certainly, if it is our ability, and if it does fall within the scope of our action, it'd be my pleasure to help advance that cause.
Yeah, that's very informative. Thank you, Herman. And it is absolutely true that just because one jurisdiction, or even, you have to bear in mind that the law in a jurisdiction is decided by a court, and court cases are overturned, the legal requirements evolve, and one jurisdiction doesn't speak for the rest per se. So, as Herman said, we need to take stock of what is most legally appropriate, insofar as it is in keeping with our values of creating a freer internet, a freer Web3 internet, especially for valuable information to be disseminated as freely as possible, or at least with as few arbitrary restrictions as possible. That being said, as Herman said, we aren't looking to go out of our way to rub legal systems up the wrong way, because that's not a very good business decision. Thank you, Herman, for that, and for the other updates. It's quite an exciting time with the continued progress of the development team. I'm assisting Herman with some of the things that he mentioned in terms of how to tighten up the presence of Cherry, and also how to get knowledge of Cherry into as many relevant people as possible. For example, I'm actually not going to stick around for too long, because today there's a developer Web3 conference in Dublin, which I'll be attending, during which I'll be speaking about Cherry to people to try and promote interest in what's being built. And I know that other staff members in various places will be doing the same. We'll keep you updated on that. We'll give you some of the broad details of what's been going on and what we've been saying. But it's a pretty exciting opportunity for us to push the project forward into more people's perspectives, so to speak. I have more notes here. Just give me 2 seconds while I pull them up. And we can also update you guys with regards to the AMA initiative that we undertook last week. I think it was quite successful. I think people enjoyed it, so we'll certainly be doing that every Friday from now on. Along the same lines as what I mentioned earlier, we'll be looking to establish hackathons both in person and online in the near to medium future, because that's an important aspect of marketing to developers in this day and age, and it's something that we've seen and we've all seen other projects execute with a high degree of success. Like Solana Hacker House and that kind of stuff stands out as being, very valuable to those ecosystems, and it's certainly something that we will follow through on productively in the near to medium future. As I mentioned, there will be content. Aside from what Herman mentioned, we'll also be looking at how to focus on builders, developers as a target market, and how to get more information to them and to explain succinctly how and what Cherry is working on. So that'll be quite interesting as well. And then aside from that, we are behind the scenes trying to bring partnership and integration discussions forward, and it's been pretty successful so far. As I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of dashing off to the next conference that Cherries is involved in. It's kind of an informal one here in Dublin. I'll be going to that soon, so I'm not going to stick around, unfortunately, with you guys for too long. I'm going to introduce Diego now in a couple of moments, and then thereafter, Marvin, I believe, is traveling as well. Marvin will also be representing Cherry at industry events in the next couple of days. So unfortunately, he's on a plane at the moment for that reason, and he isn't able to join in. So John will be very graciously and competently giving his update. So what I might do now is actually hand the AMA over to Diego and John. They'll run through their updates, and then John will, as usual, give us an interesting quiz, some cool questions there. So I hope everybody has their trigger finger on the send button, or on just ready to click on the right answer, I suppose. And I think as well, from last week, the 3 prize winners were announced. I still have to get to you guys with your prizes, so bear with me in that regard, and I'll be messaging you guys as well as today's winners later on. We'll recap this AMA within the next 24 hours, possibly this evening, and we'll give you some more updates. But overall, from me, I'm delighted to be able to share the good news that Herman mentioned about the progress with regards to EVM deployment on testnet. And when, as Herman said, everybody's back to work, that can be pushed forward the last mile, and that'll be great to see, and it'll be great for the rest of the team to be able to get this kind of functionality out to more people. As Herman said also, we will be publicizing the details of the bug bounty for EVM, and that should be fun and something interesting for the community to engage in as well. So I think Diego and John are there. Do you guys want to jump in?
Hello guys. Lovely to see how close we are to the EVM launch. Great news by our chain leaders, and happy to see you all in another weekly AMA. I will keep it short and interesting today. Following last week's approach, the seedling team, and specifically Javin, which I'm not sure if you all know who he is, has been driving the research of projects. And we have been in contact with various projects that are not so long away from launching. As a quick recap from last week, we said our conclusion from talking to the community and other Launchpads experts in the space. We understood how, as the market seems to be picking up, we should try and provide a wider range of fundraisings and let the community decide if they want to participate or not. Not only from the variety point of view and the real utility of SDLN, but also gaining from the whole marketing associated with a launch from the project itself directed towards our platform. Therefore, hopefully having a very positive impact on SDLN. So yeah, we have been looking at the trending topics, Arbitrum, for example, and upcoming chains. We know there is a lot of work on these ends, and that we need to work on our listing proposal to reach the best projects in the space. But I'm sure as we host the first couple of projects in the next weeks, the ball will start rolling, similar to what happened a couple of months ago with our last project push, where we actually got interest from very top projects like Banger Games or XP Market itself, who, by the way, have been developing their platforms at a very quick pace. And I'm aware they are actually very advanced and even working in the case of XP Market already, which is great, and will interest of other architectures to see that the XP Market API. So yeah, let's follow the same procedure that was already successful in the past. What else? We have also engaged with a very, let's say, top ecosystem who is currently fundraising their private rounds and has successfully managed to complete and oversold their rounds with a couple of million already fundraised and a lot of commitments from strong VCs. So now this means we have three. We are in negotiation with three different ecosystems, with, say, very top names, some upcoming chains, some already very well known and established chains, which are interested in what Seedling has to offer. We are also in contact from the Seedling side with many projects that want to integrate and build on Cherry ecosystem. So some have shown real interest in building in the ecosystem from the start, all the Web3 architecture, which is always interesting for Seedling as a supporter of the chain through our fundraising platform and negotiating, special rounds and opportunities in this sense as the official and unique launchpad of the Cherry chain. So yeah, guys, I will keep you updated on this sense as well. And this was pretty much all from the Seedling side, short and snappy and straight to the point. So yeah, guys, keep your eye on Seedling, as I'm sure big opportunities are to come in the upcoming weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Diego. I'll take it from there. I just need 2 seconds to get up my slides. Okay. Hey, guys. I hope you can all hear me there. Yeah. As Owen mentioned, Marvin is traveling right now, so we're going to wish him a safe flight, and I'm going to step in to give this week's Cherish update. First off, we have a new creator spotlight out with a quilling and paper artist from Colorado called Kayla. You can find it on our Twitter or Medium. She does some really cool work, so I'd encourage everyone to go and check that out. As always, onboarding continues, and we hope to have some more really talented artists and creators to share with you all soon. Our next point, limited access testing for Cherish has commenced. We have community members testing both the creator and user side of Cherish. And of course, we want to say a huge thank you to everyone involved. Your feedback and help is going to be invaluable in getting the platform ready for launch. If anyone out there is really interested in getting their hands on Cherish and helping out, I think that we could maybe manage to squeeze maybe 1 or 2 more people in the testing group. You can DM preferably Marvin, but also myself on Telegram, and we'll see if we can make any accommodation there. Our next point, development continues with some really great progress being made by the dev team behind the scenes. As some of you have noticed, the Cherish landing page is down as we prepare to roll out the new deployment. Anyone who needs to can still claim vested tokens at cherish.cx/vesting. And finally, our next Cherish Update article, now number 10, is in the works, and we hope to have that out soon, most likely next week. I think that's all from me for this week, and that therefore concludes this week's AMA. Thanks for having me on, thanks for listening, and keep an eye on the chat. The quiz will be starting in a moment. Thanks, guys.